Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, lax rats alike, welcome back to another episode of the Crease Dive. Today is Thursday, July 13th. The PLL is heading to Fairfield, Connecticut this weekend, and so are the boys. PLL season is back after a couple-week break during the World Championships. Things got underway with Minneapolis last week. Always a tough city for me to say. I always want to combine it with Indianapolis, but Minneapolis last week. I'm Jordy from Barstool. With me, as always, we've got Dukes on the mic. Dukes coming at it from the newly renovated Barstool office. So we got a nice little new little backsplash behind you there. Looks pretty solid. Dukes, how we feeling this week?
Feel great. PLL's back. I feel like I'm back as well. Summer vacation is over. The Barstool 1 week summer vacation after the 4th of July is up. Back in the office, feeling good, feeling mobile. Ankle feels good. Health feels good. I know that I'm excited for your first Bar Down Beer Lounge. By the way, if you're listening right now, the cheapest ticket that you can get if you're in the tri-state area, if you're thinking about going to Fairfield, it is in the link that's on our Twitter, on our Instagram, both of our bios, on the Crease Dive bio. It is $37 for both games, both days, or one day. You know what I'm saying? Like Friday, $37, Saturday, $37. That's the cheapest ticket you'll find. That does not include alcohol. Right now, you have to buy your alcohol on your own, but it will be a great time. It still will be a party. The booth, the goals will be flowing. So yeah, if you're going to check out our field, just make sure that you purchase the link for the Bar and Beer Lounge that we give out. Again, 21 up, but it should be a great time. Jordy, how are you feeling about your first experience? Excited?
I'm pumped to get there. Pretty happy to get out to a PLL game this weekend. I think the past couple years. So, I mean, first season I went to New York. That's where we first met, Dukes. You were still just a young whippersnapper, maybe doing some sort of, you were still doing, oh my God, what was it called?
Nosebleed.
Nosebleed. So you were a young whippersnapper, just making a name for yourself out there. And so week 2 of PLL. Then after that, I think I've only been to the Philly week. So the championship the first year, semifinals another year, and then another championship last year. So excited to get out to another city. And I'll tell you what, Dukes, what I'm really excited about is just the more things change, the more they stay the same. I don't know if this is a me issue or I don't know if it's just a Barstool HQ issue, but as renovated as the place is, Wi-Fi still sounds terrible.
Really?
It could be a me thing. So you're in and out. It could be a me thing though, because I'm at the shore, so I'm not at my not at my regular domicile. Humble brag there, but could be a me. Am I cutting in and out on you?
No, just video wise, but everything else is coming in good. This is just classic. Cool. Just you get some things get fixed, other things can't ever be fixed. So hopefully the listeners they don't have any audio issues or video issues, but yeah. But again, it is my number one weekend.
Yeah, to get back to your question though, I mean, I haven't been to a PLL event since the inception of the Bar Down Beer Lounge, so I am fired up for that. I can't imagine a better way to watch a lacrosse game. See, here's the thing, I love lacrosse so much, like big time lax guy, certified lax guy, acclaimed by Lax Sportsnet, but I'm not like the craziest about watching it from the stands, right? Like you play so much growing up, so like you see it from there. And then I coach, so like I'm always seeing it from the side, and like I just never really got into watching it from the stands. I like to watch it on TV. I would say that the stands are actually like my least favorite spot to watch lacrosse. So the fact that we get a different angle, a different way to attack the game as a fan at the Bar Down Beer Lounge, I'm very excited for that. So definitely looking forward to it. And again, $37. That's I'm not a big math guy, but that's what about $18.50 per game. That's a steal,
which is a great deal.
$18.50 to watch a game of lacrosse. You get 2 games with that. And then you go down to the Bar Down Beer Lounge. Anyone who's 21 and over, come on by. We can drink like bandits. We can watch some lax. I'm sure that there'll be games. You've got Dukes, Billy, myself, Jake will be running around, RJ, a few other big names should be out in Fairfield this weekend. So it should be great for anyone who can make the trip.
Yeah, and before we get started here, I'll just make a note. I know you as a golf guy, I'll explain the Bar Down Beer Lounge as like, when you're boozing, playing 18 holes, the front 9, you feel good, you feel loose. That's how I feel watching the PLL games at the Bar Down Lounge. The first half, I can give you great analysis on what's going on. By the second half, it starts getting a little shaky on what you really are actually seeing. So that's how I compare the Bar Down Lounge to Little Golf. But yeah, I'm excited for this weekend. And let's see if you can hang with the kiddos.
Yeah, we'll see. Listen, I'm getting up there in age, 31 now. I've learned how to pace myself a bit. So, but yeah, we'll see what happens. Everyone has a plan until they get punched, right?
Exactly.
But yeah, so for today's episode, we've got a pretty big one packed for you here. So first up, we're going to have an interview with Chaos LC. Typically backup goalie, but last week in mini, he got a chance to make his PLL starting debut. I mean, this is a guy who started in the MLL for years, so it wasn't his pro lacrosse debut starting between the pipes, but the first time getting a start in the PLL. We have Austin Kaut coming up here soon. I don't know if he's in the waiting room or not, but after that, we also have we're going to be introducing our intern for the rest of the summer. There was a big time beef in the Lax Media Twitter sphere that we'll go around and break down, and then we'll also give you our weekend preview for Fairfield. But yeah, first up, let's bring up Austin Kaut from Chaos LC. Sparky, what's going on, brother?
Jordy, how you doing, man? Good to see you.
Doing good. All right. So also, first off, so we've had you on the show at some point. I think it was maybe a couple years ago. So I don't know if Dukes was the co-host at the time. So Austin, Dukes, Austin.
Dukes, good to see you. How's everything going?
Good to see you.
Doing good.
Good, dude. How you doing?
Doing good. A little banged up from the past weekend, but all's well.
Dude, so so as I don't know if you were able to hear if you were in the waiting room to get in, but first start in the PLL. Obviously, you had your years with the Launch, you've had your years with the Lizards, but first start in the PLL. Just how did it feel to be able to get back out there? I mean, listen, you've got a tough job out there. You're backing up the best goalie on the planet, so it's a little tough situation for you there for playing time, but to be able to get in there, get a run with the boys, obviously tough outcome, but I think you still had like 15, 16 saves on the day, probably 8 of them with your big ass feet. So
yeah, I mean, it's definitely different. I mean, sitting behind Blaze, the best goalie, almost probably best player in the world still to this day. I mean, it's tough, but at the same time, my coach kind of sat down with me at the beginning. Towers, obviously the best coach there is. I mean, he's the player's coach. He's the man, the best warm-up speeches you can ever get. And he sat down at the beginning of the season. He was like, yo, you're going to get a start at some point this season, because it's kind of like when you think about it, the NHL backup goalie plays what? I'm sure around 20% of the time, because
like
the guy
30 games probably.
20, 30 games, right? So they get their tick, because what happens if your starter does go down and you need that game experience? And I haven't really had it in the PLL, but it felt good to be out there. I'll be honest with you, I was shaking in my britches early on just to kind of get back out there for the first time. Haven't seen a real live game shot in probably 3-4 years now, but it was a rocky start. Picked it up a little bit and kind of got back into it. Obviously, wearing an extra shoe size bigger helps my feet, that old trick, and had a couple saves with the feet, but felt good overall.
So I got a question for you regarding, I was a backup goalie. Now you technically are a backup goalie, which is weird to say as a professional player that you are a backup. What's your safest percentage in practice? Like, do you think if you played the Chaos starters that you would have like over 60% save percentage?
And this is where I keep saying it too. The worst part of my game was playing against that Canadian style, because they always do pull a shoulder lean or like twister, and I just can never get a stick or anything on it. If I were to play the Chaos starters, I think just because of seeing their tendencies so much, I think I could get around 60, 65%.
Yeah, that's what I said. I said if I'm long on. I told Jordy this every episode, but I've said if I played the Garden City starting attack line at Duke for your starter, knowing your starters, I'm glad that this
100%. They have certain tendencies that you know how to pick up on and read. I mean, but save percentage in practice is completely different. I mean, it's a different type of speed and different type of, and as Jordan always knows, back in the days, it always caters to the offensive side of the ball because we got to pump up their feelings and get them hot for the game.
I don't know. Maybe Towers is a different breed. Maybe he seems like a guy who probably gets off a little bit more on defensive stops at practice than goals. But I know, like, practice, there's never a single drill that you do that ends with the defense getting a stop. It's always like, if the defense gets a stop, it's always, all right, let's go one more. Yeah, got to end with the goal. You could be at practice for 5 hours. You're still just waiting for that one more goal, and then we can get to the next drill. Yep. All right, we'll do. So, I mean, awesome to see you out there and playing. But it's been great watching you throughout these last couple years on this chaos run. You're a guy, you get a ton of FaceTime during the games because every time there's a goal, you're always going nuts on the sideline. You're always going right to AT. AT's going nuts with you. So, like, you're a big time team guy, huge locker room guy. And, you say that, the tendencies of all the guys, that, like, the guys that you're playing with. And it seems like, everyone who plays with you always has like sick things to say about you. So it seems like a lot of people were pumped to see you in there. But like, talk to us about being like in this backup role and like being this, like you're just, it seems like you're the ultimate juice guy in the league.
100%. I mean, I try to pride myself on that. And it's something that I've actually, I've guided a couple of the younger goalies, and whether it's younger players as well that come into the league. And goalies especially, I mean, there's not many spots when you have 3 at each position for mostly, face-off and goalies coming in as a rookie or even coming out of college. It's tough to crack the spot. You got the best goalies in the world that are already on spots, and then you got the second best that are hanging out right behind them. So trying to crack a lineup is really tough. And it's a big thing that I've kind of taken on myself, is that, like, I've had my time. I had my time of starting with the Launch and the Lizards, and, it has gotten me to where I was at today, and I'm embracing my role. And I've told the young goalies coming in the league, you can't be like super like mad at the starting goalie, like, I think I'm better than him. Well, go out there and earn it. If you're better than him, go out there and earn it in practice, show that you're going to be better. But the main thing that coaches are looking for is just to be a good teammate. Be supportive in the role that you're going to be. It doesn't matter. You don't always have to be the guy. A lot of teams need that juice guy to help keep the guys together and really grind through certain things, and then talk to guys on the side when they're getting yelled at by coach. And I've just, really taken a grip to it, and obviously love it. Caffeine's my favorite partner in crime in kind of guiding me through the scenarios on weekends and everything like that. But, it is what it is. The role is I'm here, and it was good to kind of get my feet out there a little bit as well, just so that I am ready if the time ever were to come. I need to go back in there, and to know that this old dog's got a few tricks up his sleeve,
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to put him real quick. Just to follow up on that, but because I don't want to put him on blast too much, because I think that I'm starting to come around on Quint a little bit more as the years go by. As the years go by, I'm starting to not just like automatically be like, oh, fucking Quint. Like, but he did say one thing, and like, yeah, maybe I'm a little biased, like always want to defend, grew up together, so want to defend you when someone says something on the broadcast. But he said something like, it like drove me nuts. He said, Austin Kaut, he got paid all last season. All he did was just stand there on the sideline with a clipboard. And to me, I was like, well, not really. Like, dude, like, watch what he does, like on the sideline. Again, like you're like always like juiced up, always right there with AT. It feels like between you and AT, I don't know how many like Red Bulls have been shotgun like during pregame and first quarter and halftime or whatever. Like, you guys are both just like both fucking maniacs, and that obviously translates to the rest of the team. So just wanted to say to Quinn, you're not holding a clipboard. You're going fucking nuts.
No, 100%. And the fact that, that whole comment, like just collecting a paycheck, I take it upon myself to make sure that I am not just sitting there collecting a paycheck. Like, I'm not just sitting down at the end of the bench, just kind of soaking in the game, which, sometimes goalies do because they think they should be starting or something like that. I'm right up in the corner of the box, making sure the box stays clean, making sure that we're on size, making sure, I'm engaged. And if you were to say, I guess I'm really trying to earn that paycheck. And I guess could be like a a fourth coach out there after we already have 3.
Dukes, welcome back after some technical difficulties.
Was I just paused?
I'll tell you what, though, you're coming in though a lot cleaner, a lot clearer. So just battling through adversity here.
Yeah, that's all I really ask for in this economy. Also, I cut out right before I was about to ask. This is a starter. One, what's your caffeine of choice? Like your caffeine
of choice. So this kind of has multiple parts to it. So the morning I usually wake up. It doesn't matter what city we're in, what time zone it is. It doesn't really matter. I'm rolling out of bed and I'm staring at the ceiling, and it's probably 5:45, and I'm looking up at the ceiling like, well, it's time to get up and start the day. So, thank God I've had good roommates over the time that I can kind of tiptoe around the room. But start off coffee right out of the hotel room. Doesn't matter what it is, where I am. Then, if it's a later game, we'll go to like a Starbucks. I'll be honest with you. We were in Minnesota. Starbucks can kick rocks over Caribou Coffee. That place is unreal. Unreal. It's way better. Not even close. Better quality, cold brew, nitro cold brew. I mean, someone's got to start a franchise out here. We actually already started looking it up, Blaze and I. So we're trying to start that, maybe possibly bring that franchise out here. But I think you needed like a $3 million in cash, liquid cash to prove. So I don't know how we're going to come up with that asset, but we'll figure it out down the line. But then, as it comes to the game time, it's the old school good pre-workout, whether it's Woke AF or Jacked 3D actually came out with a newer version that I don't know if you guys have tested the waters, but it's pretty darn close to back what we used to have in college. I'll tell you that much. So probably all in all, it comes down to milligrams wise. I mean, you're probably looking at 600 to 700, probably not good for my heart, but whatever it takes. Everyone has their own kind of tick before games, right?
But there's not be for your physical heart, but for the heart of the locker room, it's probably
100%. 100%. That heartbeat's definitely going.
Yeah. Well, what's your Starbucks order then? Are you a nitro cold brew guy?
Not necessarily. It used to be pretty good. I'm a iced coffee. If it's a grande medium, it's 1 shot of espresso, 1 pump of caramel. If it's a venti, it's 2 shots of espresso, 1 pump of caramel, or 2 pumps of caramel. So the more the merrier. Just basically motor oil that you're just injecting straight to your veins.
That's a ridiculous amount of caffeine. I love that. I think before Fairfield, I'm going to try that out. 2 shots of espresso and a nice coffee.
I mean, if you guys are around the hotel room, drinks are on me.
Just
love it.
Straight. Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you what, it looks like Matty Rambo just got himself a new contract today. So if you guys are looking for anyone else to help fund your coffee venture in Philly, I think that's a guy who might have some deeper pockets today than he did yesterday. So
might be knocking on his door looking for it.
Might have to. All right. Well, you know what? Do me a favor. So you went out there, you played in your game, and before we got on the call today, you did show me that there were some battle scars from the weekend. And I'll tell you what, this right here, this is a great opportunity for us to tell people that they should really be watching the show on YouTube. Listen, if you listen to it on Spotify and Apple, that's also great. But the real reason why you should be subscribed to the YouTube and also watching this on YouTube is that we might have some bruising here for the boys and girls back home to see. So with parental discretion, I mean, this right here, this might be, listen, if you're a lacrosse parent and you've got a son or a daughter who's looking to get into the sport and thinking they're crazy enough to get between the pipes, this right here is just something that you might be able to expect for the next 18 years.
Viewer discretion advised. I mean, like I said, this is something that is not normal, but I'm a little bit older now, so the body's not handling it as well anymore. But I'll give it all a good show here. So you got the nice right there, right in there, and then you got the nice crusher right in the dead center. So right up in there, nice bruise right across so it's some battle scars. I was kind of worried a little bit. I was looking for some blood and urine or anything like that to make sure I wasn't all right, but I think I'm okay for as of right now. I'm still here.
Who got you dead center in the chest?
I'm pretty sure that was Miles Jones, down the alley. So
See, that's actually something that I haven't asked you about this, but I feel like as you've progressed throughout your lacrosse playing career, do you get hit by fewer shots like the further that you've gone? Like I feel like guys that are shooting in this league are like so dialed that they're probably kind of right inside all of the pipes. Like I wouldn't expect you to get drilled in the center of the chest playing in this league.
So some guys, certain angles, low in the shot clock, you know what I mean? Just trying to get one on cage, maybe get the reset, could have been on purpose. Who knows? But I always felt that as I've gotten older, I feel like I've taken actually more shots to the body because my hands might not be as quick in there, that I would probably play a little bit different of an angles in certain spots to hopefully soak a shot more is kind of where it comes down to. So that one down the pipe might have been a little bit of a fluke, but the other one I kind of was just sliding offside, and I'm pretty sure my chest protector must have just slid across as well and just caught skin on skin. So no big deal. Ice it up. It'll be good to go for the weekend for practice on Friday,
Dudes, did you end up taking one from Jared Newman?
No, thank. I got it off the crossbar onto the neck.
Okay. That's pretty bad too. That's pretty bad too.
It wasn't fun. He was shooting flip-flops on, and I was still like, "He's fucking." It's like his shot is.
It's unreadable. Like I've always said, poles are the toughest to read because you just never know. Right. They can easily bring it straight down over to. I mean, it's one of the hardest shots I've ever seen. I mean, he does it in practice every once in a while, and then in warm-ups before games, he kind of shoots those two balls to kind of see that speed, and it's good to see the speed from him. And it was kind of the same thing I used to do back in the day. It was like, it's good to see that speed before the game because there's not many other guys that can do that. So that when you can see that and catch that, you're going to be kind of better off kind of with the slower shots.
Yeah, that's why you always had me shoot a couple extra during warm-ups in high school.
That's exactly it. Exactly it.
I got a few more. I guess we have a debate all the time. It's good to have. We always have every goal that comes on. Do you stand on sweatpants debate?
I did it in college for like 1 year. I'm not a big sweatpants guy. I mean, first off, it's hot as it is out there, and I don't even know how you're handling that, wearing those things, unless there's like one of those little fans of like the people that in the blow-up dolls that they got on like the back of his heel or something like that. It's keeping his legs cool. I mean, I know Dylan Ward does it still, and I know Brett Dobson still does it. And maybe it just might be a mental thing for them at this point, or they truly believe that there's a little extra padding in there or catches an extra save. The old short to gate back in last year where Jack Rowlett slides in, blocks the camera because the ball went up in Blaze's shorts and he saved it. Maybe a little bigger clothing, gets a couple extra saves, right?
Yeah, and you made up it's just following up. I mean, you made a good point that it's Brett Dobson and Dylan Ward right now in the PLL. You might know both Canadians. So you could see maybe there's like some body temperature issues with people up north where they're just always cold, can't really feel the heat. I mean, we can start spinning some conspiracies here.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? There could be a conspiracy. There could be shin guards underneath there. You never know if that's what you want to start.
Well, look, I'm not saying it. Behind the water dog shirt, I'm not saying it.
I could see Dauber throwing some shinnies on. I still want to get him in the zoo. We gotta actually talk to him about that. Maybe when we see him in person in Fairfield. I wanted to get him in a pair of Zubas. I think that'd be electric. And maybe maybe that's you. You're not a pants guy, but we need someone to bring it into the game. Because my biggest thing is I just hate when I feel like Dylan Ward, like his sweatpants just like look like he doesn't like tuck them or anything. Like they just look like a mess. And the kid from Penn, right? What was it? Birkinshaw? Was that his name?
Yeah, Birkinshaw.
He also just had these sweatpants that like look like he got him in like 1997 and have still just been wearing these raggedy ass. So if you're going to wear sweatpants, I would like to see a little bit more style, but goalies are also weird enough as is. So
I think that could be a part of it too. Like they could be just like a superstition thing as well, that like they've always worn them. They just kept it that way. Always have their own ticks,
Connor McDavid has a pair of socks that he wears for every game, and he's been wearing these same exact socks for his entire career since he was like a peewee. And these are like the most hideous, like disgusting looking things of all time, but he just wears them all the time. He's the best hockey player in the world. So who's going to say like, hey, take off those fucking gross socks? So
Exactly.
yeah, I mean, I guess if Dylan Ward's winning PLL championships and NLL championships, you got to be like, all right, you can wear your disgusting sweatpants.
Yep. 100%.
Birkinshaw is like the ugliest goalie of all time. Not like fit like him with a helmet on, but just like aesthetically pleasing. Just like what an ugly goalie.
It wasn't good
when I saw him play. Yeah. All right. So this is my last question. At least I don't know if Jordan has any more. But recently, a fellow Barstool podcast, Busting with the Boys, they had a beer Olympics, right? And they got like all these different celebrities, players. So my one question would be, if you had a beer Olympics right now, just like the Chaos guys, you have the number one pick. Who's your number one pick for a beer Olympics?
Blaze Reardon. Not even a question. Blaze Reardon. Blaze Reardon. I mean, he's just a great teammate overall. And then if that were going to be the case, I mean, why wouldn't you put the two big goalies right in the start of your lineup and just run it right through? Nobody would even stop us. Wouldn't even happen.
Who would you meet in the finals? Who do you think is going to meet you guys in the finals?
Who would we meet in the finals? I would have to say, oof, that is a tough one. The second best. Patrick Resch. I mean, Patrick Resch is a sneaky underdog that you wouldn't expect to be, you know, right in the thick of things. He would just linger around and then come back and bite you. And then it depends on who's Patrick's doing. But I think Patrick and, you know, maybe like Ian McKay would be a good team tandem. I've seen those guys put down a few together that I think a good team tandem, they'd work well together in certain games where one person would be the strength and the adversary to kind of counteract the parts and make it a good team.
Well, I'll tell you what, yeah, tough scene for sure. Also tough scene for Dukes, who just can't really figure out this Wi-Fi situation right now. So he's cutting in and out. And I'll tell you what, Sparks, I appreciate the time that you've given. He's back here now. We should probably close this thing out though before you end up cutting out again. So Austin, we'll catch up again in Fairfield, but again, I think there were a lot of people in the lacrosse world that were pumped to see you get your chance to get a start last weekend in Minnesota. I know a big friend of the program, Jerry Raganese, was pretty hyped about it as well. So tough outcome, but dude, 15, 16 saves, soak one in the middle of the chest. What more could you ask for? Obviously a win, but
felt great. Felt great to be out there. You know, I'm just glad that my save percentage now is at least over 0% because I got in for one play last year and had a 2-ball from Romar Dennis go in. So I was at 0% save percentage in the PLL. So it's good to be, you know, out of that hole for a little bit here.
There we go.
That's always a good feeling.
And here's maybe this is what we'll do. So if anyone is going to be in Fairfield this weekend, if you come on over to the Bar Down Beer Lounge, we'll figure out a way to. I don't know how. Maybe they have coffee on scene. Maybe we can sneak a few into the game. But let's do the Austin Kaut challenge. So. You can, instead of buying Dukes and I shots, just come on over, bring us grandes with a double shot of espresso, and we'll see how many we can put down until our hearts explode.
Love it. I'm in with you guys. I'll be there.
I had one last closeout statement. Have you guys ever seen Kicking and Screaming?
Yes,
yeah,
that's probably me.
Have half cap.
Yes,
probably me.
You guys just got a coffee cooler next to the Gatorade and water.
Yeah. Just a full blown. The huge espresso machine right next to the
right.
Keep them down. Have them ready for guys coming off. Ice them up, ready to go.
Oh, one last thing. If you were, before we get you out of here, if we were to assemble just an all-star team of guys from Delco and guys from Long Island, how badly would Delco lacrosse spank the shit out of Long Island?
It wouldn't even be a competition. Any year, any players, take the best of Delco and the best of – actually, you know what? I'm not going to say it wouldn't even be a competition.
It would be – Long Island would win 12.
No, come on. You got one of the best – you got two of the best goalies ever to come out of all professional lacrosse. So where are your guys scoring goals? And, you know, actually 3. I'll put myself in that list, you know.
There you go.
Doherty, Drew Adams, and then as well as me, you know. Throw me in there. I'll get like the end of the fourth quarter, and we'll get a little bit of a playing time and tick in there. But
they're not winning face-offs.
Not winning face-off. Greg Granlian, not even close. Keep it coming. I mean, and what rules are we playing? Especially if we're playing international rules, you guys are just never going to have possession. It'll just take too long.
Wait,
And then
I
whoever
have to
does
think
get
about
the ball
baseball.
gets stripped by Kyle Sweeney.
Yeah, I mean, take it to Kyle Wharton from deep, throw out Brian Christopher down the alley. I mean, keep it coming.
Yeah, I mean, Long Island win by 10. That's all I know. I have to think about the
might have to
baseball
be
from Rob
something here.
Pennell, Earhart. I mean, come on. Schneider. We'll see.
would be a battle.
It's
It would
gotta
be a
be tough.
battle.
It's gotta be. We gotta bring back like I think that we have to do the Under Armour underclassmen games, like Philly, New Jersey. We just have to do
I
this. for
hate how they
30+.
got. I don't understand why they got kind of like paused on that. I don't understand.
They don't do that.
It's great. I don't know if they do. They do the underclassmen game still. I don't even remember if they do.
I honestly assumed this is breaking news to me, and I'm.
So
I could be making that up too. I could be just
so
writing rumors.
Let's
I
go
don't
after
think
Under
that
Armour altogether.
I don't know. So I don't think it's Under Armour games anymore because one, Under Armour is getting out of lacrosse in general.
Yep.
But there's some other might be like Corrigan Sports or something like that. But there is this essentially the same thing. But
Yeah.
but I would actually love to see because listen, underclassmen, like they have so many more years to play lacrosse. Like, give us a that, but for just like. I mean, I would like to add pros in there as well, but I would also like to see one just for beer league guys.
Just the backups, the guy. Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll piece together those rosters. Austin, maybe you can be our GM, and we'll figure out something on that. But we'll run into you in Fairfield. Everyone who won't be in Fairfield, make sure to check in this weekend. Who do you guys have? I should probably know this by now, but looking at the schedule, we've got the Chaos taking on Atlas, the 8:30 p.m. game on Saturday night lax. Chaos trying to get themselves back into the win column against the Atlas, another team looking to get their season back on track. So it should be a good one. Check it out on ESPN Plus. Austin, thanks for coming out, brother.
Damn sure. Dukes, thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, Austin, thank you.
See ya. All right, and that was Austin Kaut. Yeah, I do think, I mean, like there's got to be a better way. Like you get something similar to it. Like when you go to Lake Placid, I feel like most of those games like end up being kind of just all geography based, but I would love to see like a team Philly versus a team Baltimore versus a team Long Island versus a team upstate versus a team New England, like of just all dudes that are 30 and over. Maybe the guys who are 25 and over and just haven't played
Thanks.
pro.
I actually appreciate that. And I also just turned 25, so that's perfect.
Yeah.
Actually, there's this free ad. There's this cool tournament out at Long Beach, Long Island I got a DM about where they wanted to put like a barstool team together. I was like, I can't play because my ankle, but just playing, and it's like a free open bar if you win. So if anybody is interested in this, there's a Long Beach, Long Island tournament that just sounds like a great time. Just playing lacrosse on the beach. And the fact is like, are the winners actually the losers? Where like you lose 10-9, 2 games, and all of a sudden you're 15 seconds from the beach. Sounds amazing. And then if you win the thing, you get a free open bar, which is like also like right on the beach. Sounds magnificent. So like maybe we could do something with that where we just go geography based next year. You and yours versus me and mine. Philly boys versus Long Island boys.
Yeah, I like that.
It's not a bad idea.
And maybe neither of us play. Maybe we just coach.
Right.
I don't know if
I wouldn't start.
you snapped your ankle playing men's league,
done.
or in an alumni game, I've torn my ACL playing men's league. So I'm not playing as well. But we can coach. I think and then we can both of us get the open bar, win-win.
Yeah, I saw some PLL guys yesterday going to like practice. They're like, oh, you should come up sometime. I was like, absolutely fucking not. It's like, you guys see me play. You guys will think this guy's a joke. You guys won't listen to anything I say serious. If you even take me serious, you really won't take me serious. And I was like, and I'm also not ever doing a cut. I don't think ever again. Or just like, I can't see it right now. I just get so like weird about it. But
no, you hit a certain point in your life where you don't, what do you need to cut? Unless you're like,
unless you're cutting the lawn.
Yeah, or maybe you're like running away from like an assailant. Like maybe there's just like a crazy dude walking through the streets of New York City, and you have to like. But even then, I don't know. I would maybe just bulldodge him.
Dude, I actually said that. It is crazy how vulnerable. If somebody just attacked me, I couldn't even stick up for myself right now. I wouldn't run. I can't like they could just see me looking. Like, let's just go beat the shit out of this kid. I can't do anything.
Listen, I trust our listeners. I think that they're all good, wholesome people, but it sounds to me right now like you're challenging people to, hey, come fuck me up, and I can't do anything about it.
I was at the bar 2 weeks ago or a couple weeks ago for my birthday, and I had some kid when I was like in the scooter and all trying to fight me, and I was like, this is an insane proposition. Like, I am on a scooter. Like, this is, if I was in a wheelchair, you wouldn't try to fight me. Like, what's the difference between a wheelchair and a scooter? It was crazy.
Well, equal rights, right?
Right. You would think. You would think. You know, I mean, yeah, I guess
just because you're currently handicapped doesn't mean you can't get those hands. Maybe he was a Maryland fan, still pissed off about Notre Dame by 5, but
yeah, or it was just like anybody that's ever grown up on Long Island who's just like, fuck this guy.
That could also be the case.
Also, probably a Delco kid hearing me talk shit about Delco all the time.
Well, I don't. Not many Delco kids end up making it up to New York. We all just stay in Delco forever.
Yeah, that's facts. That's facts.
All right. Well, so that was a great interview with Austin. It felt good to get another interview under our belts. We haven't done a ton of interviews so far this season. First off, with the college kids, it's just always it's a pain in the ass getting those kids on the show. And then, obviously both of us had a bunch of stuff that we had to take care of aside from lacrosse over the past couple of weeks. So we haven't been able to lock up any interviews. So great to get Austin Kaut on the program this week. Was also great to watch him play last week. We got a big slate of PLL games coming up this weekend in Fairfield. But before we get to that, we got a couple other things that we want to talk about. Do we want to bring in introduce the intern now, or do we want to talk about the Twitter beef?
Let's bring in the intern now, show our winner, and then we can catch him maybe up to speed on the Twitter beef if he's not.
All right, and as he comes in, I got to let my dog in the room.
The winner of the intern search, Matt Nestler. How's it going?
Dukes, Jordy, I'm doing great. I appreciate you guys. It was a fun couple weeks there, getting the boys rallying on Twitter and getting the chance to do this. So thank you guys.
Matt, I'll tell you what, man, you've got a lot of friends. That's a cool thing, man. Not to say that all the other intern interviewees were a bunch of nerds, but you clearly had the biggest friend group and the most loyal friend group. I mean, the Nestler Hive was buzzing all week long. So every time I checked on Twitter, didn't see any votes coming in on Threads, but every time I checked on Twitter, it was just more Nestler Hive coming in with the votes. So pretty cool for you, man. Congrats on all the friends.
Thank you. It was a lot of the fellows from Cabrini, my hometown Chatham, and then there were some burner Twitter accounts that I was never able to find out who they are, and they were throwing some support for Nestler. So as good as it felt to get support from a lot of the fellas, I found it real funny when I'd see a tweet from someone who I had no clue who it was, and that felt real good. So I appreciate it. It was honestly a lot of fun.
Yeah, man. I mean, I think that it's a testament to how bad you wanted to do this. We really don't know what we're going to do with you, to be honest. Like I have zero idea. I don't think Jordy has any idea too. But you made it very easy. I mean, it almost was like going into round 2 of the interviews. Like someone would have to kill it. Whoops. Somebody would have to kill the interview, or just like really show.
Or someone would have to kill Matt.
Yeah. I knew it was over when I was at the columns in the Jersey Shore, and I had people coming up to me being like, "Give it to Nestler," and it wasn't just like one or two. It was people like across the bar with like hire Nestler. And it did help, I think, that like half of Chatham also happened to be at the bar.
Yeah. That'll go down like that.
Yeah. So just congratulations to you. And we do this through like September. I guess your first task as intern will be if we can actually do the Cabrini documentary, if you can get 100%. In touch with the coach. See if there's a possibility, so then we could try to give it to people at Barstool and see if we can do anything with it.
We can 100% make that happen. That inside scoop I gave you guys on Coach Tommy DeLuca being hired, he's in there as the head coach. I think the Cabrini team's closing in on being at the number they need to have like a season in the spring. I think they need to hit a certain number. I want to say it's 35. I've been trying to get someone to get over there still, even though with getting the internship, I'm still recruiting. But I'm hoping they have a season. If they do, we got the green light from the head coach, the players, and we have some people who are more than willing to help. So we'd have all behind the scenes access, whatever you guys need. The coach said he's got us. So shout out to
yeah. All right, awesome. That sounds great.
Yep.
I think that people will really enjoy that. I think that would be a cool documentary. But yeah, congratulations again.
Thank you.
What are you doing this weekend, Matt?
This weekend, I was actually getting together with some of the Cabrini alums down in their territory, down in Cape May. I'm a flexible cat. I can change my plans around, but that's really all I'm doing is seeing some of the guys from my recruiting class down there in Cape May.
All right. Well, if you take a wrong turn and end up in Fairfield,
I might have to see if I can make that happen, especially if you guys are going to be there. I might.
Yeah. We have plenty of weekends. Really, don't worry. You can make it to anyone that we go to.
Awesome.
Always good to get together with the boys, so really don't worry about it. If you do have to make a wrong turn, though, it should be Rafferty Stadium, $37 for 2 PLL games. Beer not included. It should be a great time.
You got it. You got it.
Yeah, I would not drive your car though home because it is going to be a zoo. It's going to be a zoo. But yeah, congratulations again. Did you hear about any of this Twitter beef?
You guys talking about with Ty Zanders and I'm not sure how to pronounce the other guy's name. That
Chris Yastrzemski.
Yes, Chris Yastrzemski. Yeah.
Yes, I think I follow Ty Zanders despite him, not giving me that love in high school that I was looking for. I could have been number one recruit. You never know. But I've followed him since high school, and that popped up on my page, and I just saw sort of lacrosse Twitter going after it a little bit, and I looked into a little bit of the backstory on it between what that Chris guy released and sort of why he did it, and I thought it was funny. I'm kept up, but I feel like you guys might have a little more info than I do.
Yeah, Jordan, you want to give the people a little background on what the beef is?
Yeah. So, I feel like if you're listening to this podcast right now, or you're watching the pod, like you're probably a lacrosse sicko in general. So you're probably up to date on what's happening.
You sick fuck. Turn this off.
But if you're watching or listening, it's the middle of July. You're a lacrosse sicko. You probably know everything that's going on. But for the few people that might not be as clued in, or maybe I also always think like way more people are actually on Twitter than there are. So there are probably a decent amount of people here who have no idea what I'm talking about. But it all goes back to so Chris Yastrzemski, friend of the program, Philly guy, big fan of Chris. He's on the NHL and TNT crew as well. One of the best data researchers that you'll ever meet. But he's guys dialed in. He's an insider in the lacrosse world. He's he's looking to be, I don't know if he's looking to be, but he's pretty much, I'd say that Chris Jast and Ty Zanders for college lacrosse are probably the Sham and Woj. So I think that's probably a fair comparison for the two of them. So Chris, he had the scoop that Dave Petramala will be stepping down as the defensive coordinator at Syracuse, and he'll be going to Chapel Hill to take a role with the UNC Tar Heels. That way he'll get a chance to coach his sons. Listen, first off, there's something to talk about there with Petro stepping down at Cuse. I think it's a good move. The guy, you got kids that are playing in college. You want to be able to watch your kids play. Now he's going to be able to watch them play every single day at practice. So I don't think that that's much of an issue at all with Petro stepping down at Cuse to go to UNC for that. But with Petro stepping down, there were then some roles, or there's a role to fill in Syracuse now with for a new defensive coordinator. And let me see if I can bring this up on Twitter. And
when you're bringing it up, let me just say that if Dan Arestia is hearing this right now, he's not going to like that he wasn't included as a sham.
Yeah. Well, I
don't
know.
Maybe Yastrzemski is technically like. Do you remember that guy, that like Lakers fan that tried breaking news on Twitter a couple years ago, and he was completely wrong? And he got
but Chris gets everything right. I feel like there's got to be like
he does. He does. But this certain scenario, I mean, did this bump him down from Shams level to maybe this guy that's getting memed to death, or does this elevate his status to like a Chris Broussard, like sources? How part of my take was like Chris Broussard, sources. This could be.
I'd say that Acello is still at the Chris Broussard with the. I mean, you still got the teat to Denver to think about. So that was a big time sources. Yeah, I don't know where to. I don't really. I'll be honest. I don't follow. And
we should do this.
Well, here's the thing. What is it? What is it for? Maybe it's more like the NFL. So you have Schefter, you have Rappaport, and then you have Jay Glazer. So maybe that's more of what it is. And I would give Dan Jay Glazer. I think that'd be a cool guy to be. But anyway, so now we bring it up. So it all goes back. All right. So there's a tweet. So Cuse MLax needs a new DC to replace Dave Petramala. Who's it going to be? With insight from my guy Chris Jass and other sources, here are some names to consider. That's from Brent Axe Media. Chris Jass then says that, you know, the names that he's heard. Now, here's the thing. This is where I think that this is where we get into semantics. Right. I don't think that Chris Jass ever said that any of these names have either reached out about the opening for DC at Syracuse. And I don't think that he said that any of them have been talked to about it. He just said that these are names to consider. So Joe Amplo, Ron Caputo, Travis Crane, John Galloway, Ryan Wellner. And then pretty soon after, Joe Amplo came out and quote tweeted Chris. He said, "Chris, where did you hear this from? Would love to check your sources. I know I am not going anywhere. I already have the best job in America and a great relationship with my AD. Hope you get the clicks you were looking for." Obviously, Joe Amplo, coach at the Naval Academy. So that right there, little, again, semantics. Did he say that Joe Amplo was contacted about the job? Did he say that Joe Amplo was interested in the job, or were those just names that Syracuse should consider? We'll have to wait to find out. We need to get Chris and Ty on the show to talk about that. But then that opened up the door for a lot of people then to come around and dunk on Chris. Sources were off, right? Joe Amplo not interested. All of a sudden, people, like, you got a lot of people, like Joe Amplo's people, being like, "Yeah, you fucking clown!" Like, that's, you know, that wasn't true. Right. In comes Ty Zanders, quote tweeting, "Can also add Peter Pan, Kirby Smart, and Lizzo to this list."
Really quick, I jump in. That was funny.
Yep. It's good. It's a good.
That's a good chirp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like.
You can't be Syracuse. Sorry, you can't be Syracuse who's like, all right, like, yeah, we want these guys. Does that mean you're going to get these guys? But like, I don't think it's ridiculous to put Joe Amplo on that list after Kevin Cassis left Lehigh after all those years to be an associate head coach. I don't think it was that crazy that like Joe Amplo hasn't also had the success that I think he would have had at this point at Navy that he found at Marquette. I don't think it was that crazy of a suggestion. And I don't think anybody else on that list was that crazy. I think it was big time names like Galloway, who's found success at Jacksonville. Like, it's not like he's gonna be the coach.
But he's a Syracuse guy. So like they're all names that make sense.
That Syracuse should want. Syracuse
should want. But it's a funny tweet by Ty.
Right. It's one of those things where, like, in college basketball, it's like Brad Stevens. Like, if he says no, you got to ask Jay Wright unless till he says no. John Galloway, got to ask until he says no. Joe Amplo, you got to ask till he says no.
Yeah. But then so then Chris quote tweets that wholly unprofessional. This is some loser energy. Well, so yes and no. It was funny, but I guess you could say unprofessional. And then I guess you also have, there's like you gotta like what is inside lacrosse? Like, are they us? Are they like ESPN? Like what is inside lacrosse? And how do they operate? So you could say it was unprofessional. It's not like Ty Zanders is like constantly out here just like fucking chirping guy. Like, he's just like out here ranking the top 118-year-olds in the world. So unprofessional.
Yeah,
Maybe
not even lacrosse. Not even lacrosse. He's just ranking 18-year-olds.
Who are the best 18-year-olds
18-year-olds,
in the world, man? Like, give them to me. Give it to me straight.
Yeah.
And they're probably all from Connecticut for some reason. But yeah, so wholly unprofessional. This is some loser energy. Yeah, I mean, maybe unbefitting of his post. But so then this starts a little back and forth, so we'll just go through it. So then Ty responds to that. Chris, I've always respected you, and you've been all over scoops this summer, but calling someone unprofessional while you're less than 48 hours removed from breaking the news about Petro before he could tell his team is pretty wild. Feel like a legend deserves better than that. So now we've got a bit of a respect off here, right? So it's I love the leading with it, right? Like I've always I've just like clowned the shit out of you in my previous tweet, being like, look at this fucking jerk off. Yeah, Peter Pan and Kirby Smart are going for it too. But no, I respect you. So it's just like a good way of
Respect.
It's like a reverse. Like he should have said like, hey, no offense before the like no offense, but you could add like Peter Pan and Kirby Smart to the like it's kind of like he remembered that he didn't say no offense in that tweet. So he just had to rectify it with the next one, being like, well, hold up, I've always respected you, but now I don't really know what he's getting at here with like where breaking the Petro news is unprofessional. Like that's my hang up on it. Do I get it? Sure, but like if Schefter gets a scoop, well, fucking Nestler over here, Nestler had a scoop, and we got that out. No one knew about.
We didn't even ask.
Yeah,
we didn't ask. Nestler was just like, "Yo, I think I know who the next Cabrini coach is." We're like, "Tell us." Easiest squeeze out of all time.
And Nestler's a pro's pro, so he just gave that scoop right away because he knows that when you're in the biz of scoops, when you're in the scoop biz, like. You can't like it's basically like it's a scoop, right? An ice cream scoop, and you don't want to hold on to that ice cream scoop while it melts in your hands and it drips all over. That's a fucking mess. You want to get that scoop out quick, and that's the biz right there. You got to be first on it. So I mean, Chris had it first. He had the scoop. He broke the Petro news. That seems to be like his profession. To do that. So I don't really understand calling that one unprofessional, Dukes. Any thoughts on that while actually one more time. Yeah. Let's I think that this is the last one, and then it kind of just fizzled out. So after the Chris, I've always respected you in professional, unprofessional shit. Chris then comes back. Happens often in the league I work in, which, by the way, great flex by Chris Jass, just making sure everybody knows that he works in the NHL. Happens often in the league I work in. I don't know what to tell you, bud, and I don't know what you're trying to get at. Have a great night. My messages are open, as you know, since you follow me. If you would like to elaborate more, cheers. I mean, that is just like a... Listen, I know Chris Jast, kid, he's a sweet kid. That was that was like the biggest prick tweet that you could send. Just hey, I work in the NHL. Hit him with a bud. Have a great night. And you can DM me because I know that you follow me, and then ending it with a nice little sarcastic cheers with the exclamation. I mean, that was just like I was proud of
the douchiest tweet that you could put. Yeah, it was the douchiest tweet you could put out. If I was Ty, I'd be fuming.
Oh my God. Like, that's one where, and so let me see if I can get a timestamp on this one. All right. So that's sent, it's 8:36 PM. That one sent, and for a fact that like Ty was like, had to be fuming. And probably like he's like laying in bed later that night going to sleep, and the whole time like everything about that just rattling around in his mind, and he's thinking about like all the things that he like could say back to him, but he's like, no, I'm not gonna say that. Like
bigger man,
gonna be a bigger man here, but like that's like that was. And listen, once you get to the like, so Chris called Ty unprofessional. And then Ty threw back unprofessional at Chris. At that point, the gloves were off, right? So I think that I think that sending the biggest prick tweet ever, like I think that was appropriate for the moment. The feud had escalated to the point where it's time to take the gloves off and just start throwing fucking just pure douchery around. And Chris, I mean, landed a heavy knockout punch with that one.
I think that first off, too, when it comes down to whose side I'm on, I think that it was a tight battle. I think it was two heavyweights. You got the lacrosse media going after the high school lacrosse media. What it comes down to for me is, one, if what Chris said is true and Petro was recruiting for UNC at events with no Syracuse colors on, then it's free game. Two, yes, would it have been different if it was like in season or students were still on campus and Chris broke the news before Petro could tell his players that are on campus? Yes. But
yeah,
people join the transfer portal.
Yeah. If Petro was like walking to the locker room to tell everybody what was going on, and Chris like swooped in and got to it before, like, if like Chris like shut the door on Petro and like screamed into everyone, "Hey, this guy's leaving," yeah, it's fucked up. But like,
what? So Petro couldn't tell the fucking team over a group me that he's leaving for a different school? Kids are like, sick. If I don't play next year, I'm going to transfer with you. So I don't know. I thought the whole thing was hilarious because one, it's like, and also when people talk about like sources, what's right, what's wrong, what's professional, what's not, you shouldn't do this, it's not the right thing, lacrosse, like, it's like, how are we going to make it sport if we're not going to have the Schefters of the world? Like, somebody has to play that role, and Cass is playing it very well. Dan Arestia plays it very well. Ty is getting into it a little bit more. I know he's been in high school for a while, but you saw him break news even today. So yeah, I think
did he break the? I think he broke the Matt Rambo contract news.
He did, like, which I mean, yeah, I didn't hear Dan Arestia's take, been on top. I was mowing the lawn or something, but I want to throw my hat into the ring because I'm gonna get my source off. I'm gonna just add 4 names that I've heard. I'm hearing that the Syracuse defensive coordinator job is coming down to Caputo, Crane, Hunter, and Jordan Stevens. So those are the final 4 from what I'm hearing. I just want to say that if I could play that role as well, I think that I could coach up that defense.
Are you saying this because Caputo reportedly only interviewing at Cuse to put pressure on John to get Duke the associate head coaching title and to have Keys waiting instead of Matt? Do we have the same exact source?
I would probably say also, like, Caputo does not want to be the head coach. He's interviewing to get a few more dollars out of Duke. Hunter Stein is the current favorite.
So we have a source.
I knew you had it. That's why I said it.
I'll tell you what, I would actually, and I would love to throw my hat into the ring as well. But I want people to give me your gut feelings, and then I'll run with them as scoops. So I don't care if they're accurate. Like I just want to get into the mix a little bit. I always feel left out during the shit. So like, give me whatever you think is going to happen. Maybe you have an actual insight into it or not, but just give me your gut reactions and I'll send them off as scoops. Sources say.
Yeah, I just want to add one thing to that. The amount of fucking I'm heated. I get randomly heated during this shit. But the amount of fucking people in the DMs are like, I can fucking do your job. I have people that play at Syracuse, Johns Hopkins, blah, blah. I'm so tight in the lacrosse community, blah, blah. I play club in South Carolina. Okay, you know everybody in the lacrosse community? Give me your fucking scoop then. Everyone says that they do this shit because they know everybody in the lacrosse community. When it comes to the scoops game, nobody knows fucking shit.
I can finally.
Yeah, maybe. All right, so Deuce, you said you don't know what we're going to get out of Nestler this summer. Maybe he can be the scoop filter.
Anybody with drop your handle right now on Twitter and Instagram.
My Instagram is Matt_Nestler40, and my Twitter is mnestler40, Nestler.
This is for anybody that thinks they know shit, that wants to be an insider, but they're scared of their job or anything. Send every tip, every contract, every transfer portal, every coaching change, any rumor. Honestly, just rumors. It can be made up.
Send them my way.
Send them his way. And then he'll have to filter them to us.
Or any thought you have in general, just send them his way. Matt, you want to put your phone number out there?
And also, if you think you can do his job better than he can,
I don't know.
You can text Matt all of your scoops, and then you can just filter the scoops, and then you send us your best 5 scoops of the week if you get enough.
Actually, I'm going to read out Matt's number right now. It's 732-681-5055.
Looking forward to all those text messages. Jordy, I was gonna say that I can try my best to get you any inside Cabrini scoops. If they get word there's a season, I'll try to get word before it gets out there. Maybe you can break that news that there'll be a season for sure.
All right, love that scoop. All right, yeah, and everyone just again send everything you can to Matt. Just give us your best scoop of the week, and we'll see if any of them hit.
I'll be waiting for him. I'll pass those along.
Nestler, the scoop man. All right. Well, yeah. So I think that I agree with your assessment. I think that it was a good tight battle. I think that both guys landed some good shots. Both guys probably missed a couple as well. I think at the end of the day, I'm probably still going to give the decision to Chris Jast. I think that fine, like get into an argument with someone, getting the last word in means everything, right? Like you made the other guy tap out. So whether it's, I'm going to be the bigger man and just step away from this or not, getting the last word in means that you usually win. So I'm going to give him the win there, but it was a tight decision and it was so tight. I think that it's like perfect that we need a rematch at some point. So, would love to see just another dust up, and maybe it can happen here. So we'll try to facilitate something to get both of those guys on.
And maybe we could bring in a special guest to help mediate it, because I know I can't mediate for shit. I have an idea.
All right, I like that. That's a good tease. All right, so we should probably wrap up that portion of the show and just do some quick talks about this coming weekend in PLL.
Yeah, Nestle, you can stay on if you want to give picks. You also are free to leave, whatever you want to do.
I'll give picks if you guys want to keep me on here. I'll stay on. If you guys want to give me the axe whenever, I'll pop off. So
well, we can let you give some picks. We'll give some. We'll fly by this. Again, really quick, I just want to one last promo for going to Fairfield. You should be going to Fairfield. It's the best place. It's my number one place to watch a lacrosse game. So much fun. $37 for Friday's games. $37 for Saturday's games. Beer not included. 21 up. Bar down beer lounge. It's going to be an absolute zoo. Me, Jordy, Billy Football, some other special guests will be in attendance there. So make sure you buy your tickets. Last year they really showed out. I think that with the bar down lounge, it'll even double how fun last year was. So I'm excited. And let's get into the games.
All right, well, it all gets going this Friday at 6 p.m. All these games streaming on ESPN Plus. The first game on Saturday, also on ESPN2. But we've got Water Dogs taking on the Whip Snakes. Whip Snakes 1-3 on the year so far. And Dukes, I know that you, right now you're still long on the Whip Snakes, but listen, their goal differential, right? They're scoring different. They're still +2, right? They're 1-3, but they're +2 in the scoring differential. They've been right there. Like, I think their first 2 games of the season were both 1-goal losses. So they're kind of right there, but they're also in a weird spot where they need to get a win pretty soon here to get things going. And the Water Dogs, they've just been buzzing around so far. So they're 3-1 to start the year. I think they started off with the loss, but then they've won 3 straight since. I want to say that's how things have gone for them. Offense is looking good. Sowers is looking good. McCardle's looking good. Do we have any update on Connor Kelly for this weekend?
I'll look it up right now. I think that reports are kind of coming out slowly. Let me just do quick research, which is just Twitter.
No one's got that scoop yet.
No, it's scoopless on CK40. But
Dan Arestia. Dan Arestia. Jack Hanna is off the physically unable to perform list. No word yet on Connor Kelly. Nick Cardell released. They'll have to make another move when Kelly comes off the PUP.
Okay. Well, so either way, like even without Connor Kelly, he's a huge part of that offense. Obviously, he had a massive game in Columbus week maybe, but even without him, the Water Dogs can put up numbers. I think that I think the Whip Snakes they've been also injury run through the injury bug so far this year. I don't know what their lineup is looking like right now, but again, this is a team that probably needs to get themselves going, because you look at what they did in the championship series, right? Like fucking Stags looked like he hated his goddamn life every single time that they cut to him on the broadcast. this guy fucking hates losing in this league, whether it's right, the regular season or when they're playing sixes. Like, this guy's just not cut out for losing games. So I think for, just the sake of Jim Stagnita, his own personal health, probably like relationships and everything like that, this guy needs a win in the worst way right now.
Yeah, I'm not as – I know you're very low in the Whip Snakes. I still like the Whips. I still think they're a top 2 team. They had the second best odds to win the whole thing going into last week, so I very much believe in them. I also really like the Water Dogs. I think that one of the issues I had with the Water Dogs coming into this year was the face-off X. They weren't going to have Withers for a majority of the year, if not for the year at all. I think that they just showed that they don't really need a face-off X. They're taking advantage of that 32-second shot clock. I'm actually going to lean with the Whips on this one. I think this is a little bit of a must win, because as weird as this sounds, not must win, but you want a top position for them. They're going to make the playoffs. But yeah, I'm going to roll with the Whips in this one.
Yeah, I mean, again, so they're 1-3 right now. You've already had the big break for the World Championships. After this weekend, then what? It's All-Star weekend, so you've got another break there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you don't want to. You'd be 1-4 heading into the All-Star break after only playing 2 games over the course of a month and a half. Like, you need to get something going here. You need to get it soon. Maybe giving Matt Rambo that contract extension is just a little bit of the extra reassurance that they need heading into this one. I like Whips, and I'm going to go ahead and call it a must win as well.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, I'll label it a must win.
Is this the first must win of the season?
And also, I do think it's very contingent on if Connor Kelly plays or not. Like, I need to know if he's playing, because the hometown kid last year put in a game winner in overtime. So that is very much to be determined. But if Connor Kelly does not play, I'm taking the Whip Snakes.
Nestler, your pick on this one?
I'm going with the Whip Snakes. I just spent 3 days at the Cursed Brothers lacrosse camp, and seeing Connor Curse get that ball loose. I mean, he's feeling it. He's dialed this week. I'm expecting a big game out of the Whip Snakes. If it's not Connor Curse, he's going to do his job as a good teammate and get those boys going. So I'm going to stick with the Snakes.
All right. Love it. All right. So Friday at 8:30, second game of the slate. We've got the Archers taking on the Redwoods. There will be at least one team heading into the All-Star break at 4-1. So both of these teams 3-1 to start the year. Archers, I mean, this is a team that, these guys, these are not your father's Archers, right? These are not your older brother's Archers, right? This is a team where, previous years, yeah, they were regular season heroes, but they just kind of lacked Dukes. I mean, you brought this up a lot, where they just didn't have the specialty players to really keep up when you need to in the playoffs. But this is a complete team. They're doing a lot of this without a Ment so far. And this team looks good, and they're just buzzing through. They just beat the Whip Snakes 15-12. Offense looked great in that one. And then Redwoods, I mean, you've got, I'd say probably the two. I don't know what the odds are right now, but probably the two favorite picks to win the MVP, with Ryder Garnsey and Rob Pinnell running the show for the Redwoods right now. Those two guys. It's not a breakout year for Ryder Garnsey, right? But it's definitely this is probably the best Ryder Garnsey that we've ever seen. And then to get the best Ryder Garnsey that we've ever seen the same year that we're getting a throwback vintage Rob Pinnell season, Redwoods are dangerous. So, Dukes, your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I like the Archers in this one, -1.5 with the juice right there. I think that the Redwoods have two MVP caliber players, obviously, with Ryder or Rob, and right now I think that that's a safe bet to place one of them right before All-Star break on one of those excellent players. But again, you know how high I am on the Archers. I think they're the odds-on favorite to win it all. We see specialty. They're getting. It's kind of hilarious that the one year they probably don't need the specialists as much, with Sisselberger's having an all-star year. I just think it's very funny how that's kind of evening itself out. If the 32-second shot clock was implemented 2 years ago with the Archers win the championship, because the face-off shows that You don't need to win faceoffs to win the game. But yeah, I'm taking the Archers in this one. I just think that efficiency-wise on the offensive and defensive end, they're still cream of the crop. And Haas still a beast. Mac O'Keefe lets it sling. I think that that pickup's huge. I feel so bad for Grant Amon, but yeah, I like Archers -1.5 in this one.
Yeah, you know what? I think I gotta go. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm like, I mean, this is all these games are toss ups. They are every week. I'm just trying to think about who I trust more in between the pipes. I'm a Dobson or Jack Kelly. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think I like Dobson to have a big game, and I kind of also have to go Archers. This is going to be a pretty uneventful podcast if we just keep having the same picks. But
well, we don't have the same picks officially because if Count and Kelly plays, I'm taking the one.
Okay, yeah, there we go. Yeah, I mean, I am leaning Archers, but I don't know. I mean, yeah. It's going to be impossible for me to make any picks at all season. They're all going to be 1-goal games. So it is what it is. Yeah, I'm going to say that Brett Dobson, game changer in this one. So I'm also going Archers as well.
Nestle, you got a pick?
I'm going with the Redwoods, going against you guys. I think Pinnell and Garnsey are just unbelievable. I mean, the way Ryder's playing right now is just like out of this world. And I'm a big believer in like when a player's hot, just roll with it. And I do think Dobson in the cage going against him is going to be hard. But if we can get hot on offense, I'm liking the Redwoods. So I'm gonna stick with the Woods. Another cursed on the roster as well. We'll see a common trend there, I'm sure.
Yeah, I wonder if there's any bit of Ryder that I mean he was having a big season beforehand, but I wonder if there's a little bit of if we get like pissed off Ryder Garnsey that he wasn't on Team USA. Did you get any, like I don't know. He looked, he was a fucking beast last weekend. So it looked like maybe he had a little bit extra there. I don't know. I don't know if he's that type of guy, but if he is that type of guy, then yeah, I think that Redwoods are very dangerous for the rest of the year because of that factor. But yeah, I'm still going to stick with Archers in this one. Saturday slate of games. Oh, by the way, Dukes, what day is Jake Marsh on the call?
Friday.
All right, so Friday. So both of these games on Friday, they'll both be streaming on ESPN Plus. Listen, if you can't make it to Fairfield, you better get your ass to be streaming ESPN Plus because our good friend Jake Marsh is going to be on the call for both of those games. And listen, even if you are in Fairfield for the games, you can just stream the games on your phone. Let's make sure that we get Jake a nice little bump in the ratings. See if we can get those numbers up and listen to that glorious voice. But then on Saturday, second slate of games, we've got Chrome taking on the Cannons. Dukes, I always forget. Are you the Cannons guy or are you the Chrome guy? Or have you?
Well, because this is where I think that I know I'm a Cannons guy this year. I was not a Cannons guy last year, but we flip flopped. Okay. Remember, I said now I think the Chrome aren't the move because of Dylan Malloy. Right. And now you were like, no, I still think the Cannons are the worst. So last year you were the Cannons guy, I was the Chrome guy, and now this year I'm the Cannons guy and you're the Chrome guy.
We flip-flopped. Okay. I'll tell you what though. Yeah, I'm regretting that decision at the moment. Because the Chrome just I don't really know what's going on there. Obviously.
I'll tell you what happened. A coach made a fucking bonehead decision to keep out his stud player in the first game of the year and the locker room's falling off.
It does appear to be it does appear that the locker room is in shambles at the moment. I mean, these two teams, they've already played so far this season. They played in Columbus with the Cannons taking a 14-13 win in that game. And let me just look back. Was that the first game that Malloy was in the lineup?
It was.
Yeah, so he got in. He had 2 goals in that game. Cannons, they were able to pick up. That was their first win of the season, I want to say. Oh, by the way, just congrats, shout out to Marcus Holman, friend of the program, recurring guest. He hit 300 career goals, only the 4th guy to do that last weekend. And he also had a 4-piece against the Chrome the last time that these 2 teams played. So would expect him to have another big one as well.
Talk about dark horse MVP. Marcus Holman, I think that when people said like he's going to the Cannons just to play with his dad, that's a bet I'm enticed by. If the Cannons can get up, if the Cannons are playing in the PLL Championship Series next year and Marcus Holman is top 5 in points, how do you not make him the MVP? That's just clearly brings the most value to a team. Hey,
yeah, and you know what, like
Asher too, obviously, but it's like one of those 2 should definitely be in the hunt. The Cannons were not, and I mean. Matt Kavanaugh turning back the clock and just turning it like I think that last week was vintage. I think he set the record for most fantasy points ever, like 2 calls turnovers, 4 or 5 points. He had the game winner against.
You got both of your younger brothers getting so much shine over the last few weeks. Like he had to do something to step up and be like, hey, like big bro's still in town.
Right. I think there was a question too that like it's like, oh, which Kavanaugh would you rather have right now? And I think a bunch of people would be like, oh, Pat or Chris, Matt's washed up. Now it was like, fuck you guys. I'm still the alpha in this house. Like they have no shit on me. I totally agree with that take. I think that he was actually motivated by them.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, like I thought there was a little bit of me when Brian Holman got the Cannons job, I was like thinking a little like I don't know if there's I guess it'd be like reverse nepotism, like getting a job in the league just because your son's been playing. But like the more I watch and hear from Brian Holman, and like one that's like maybe that was just like a bit of a bit, but I don't know. Maybe it's a little disrespectful to what Brian Holman has accomplished in the sport, where everywhere he's coached in the college game. But the more I hear from him in these post game interviews, like he's actually the exact type of coach that you need in professional lacrosse. Yeah. Like you don't need a guy who's doing X's and O's. Like that's actually the last thing you need, because you have 6 guys that are on the field, all 6 of them. Probably probably 4 out of the 6 at least are coaches. So like every single time you have you see like a Redwoods huddle, and it's just like Ryder like talking everyone through, Pinnell talking everyone through. You'll get like maybe like Bertrand like popping in here and there, but like you get all these guys that are all X's and O guys, and then you have a guy like Brian Holman who comes in and he's like, yeah, like the biggest thing I do here is just like see what I can get out of guys, and then just see if I can get the most out of them. Yeah. So like, yeah, I think that, I'm really coming around on this Cannons team. So do we have a lineup? Probably really should have looked this up before. But
a lineup.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, sorry if there's noise too. The interns are right outside my fucking door, but
God damn it. Yeah. So no game day lineup out yet for the Chrome. I guess you'd have to wait and see what the status is of Dylan Malloy. It didn't necessarily work out as much the last time. It was only a 1-goal game, but I think that right now there's definitely a lot of underlying issues with this Chrome roster at the moment.
Right, and you also have for the Chrome right now, you have Jesse King back and you have Nick Turn back. Nick Turn returned last week, so they went with a line.
Shout out to the troops.
They went with Morrill, Nick Turn, and Wisnauskas. I don't know. I know Morrill's had a hell of a year, but if Nick Turn's back, I think you go with what worked last year. You go Nick Turn, Malloy, Wisnauskas, and you go Morrill out of the box and try to create that mismatch.
So here's the thing. I kind of forgot about Nick Turn being back this past week. So there's been crazy weather all across America lately, but West Point got fucking drilled with like. Have you seen all the
no
all the footage out of West, dude? Like it looks like just flooding in West Point. Like the streets are fucked. So here's the thing. I think we get a Brendan Nick Turn showing out for West Point game. I think that he has a monster day. I'm going to say 5 goals, 2 assists. So I'm actually going to change my pick. I'm going to go Chrome in this one, all on the back of Brendan Nick Turn showing out for West Point and the streets that just got fucking hammered with floods.
Yeah, I just looked up West Point. And it's like Collins had a tweet. I would love to be a fly on the wall during training at West Point over the weekend with the flooding. Could you imagine being like a new 18-year-old who's coming from the main streets of Delco.
Well, they don't go to Army. They go to fucking prison. But so, but you don't like that. That's a thing though in sports where like when there's a catastrophe, usually the sports team or maybe an athlete kind of rises to the occasion. And so it's just like busted up roads. I don't think anyone really got seriously injured at West Point, but the fucking whatever the transportation department in West Point, they're working overtime this week. And so Brendan Nichtern going to put up a big game for them. So I like Chrome in that game.
Yeah. I mean, I have to take the Cannons just based off, if you're going to be the Cannons guy, you have to take the Cannons. I think it's too, and again, I always have to see how the rosters come out. And we record Wednesdays for you guys, so you guys have 2 days to listen. I think it's better than 1 day, but yeah, I'm going to ride with the Cannons. I like that team a lot. I think the sums of their parts equal a great total. I think that makes sense. Like, again, I think that they are I think the Atlas had like the everybody eats philosophy. I think the Cannons kind of took that from them. And we're talking about coaches that are great for professional. I totally agree with you. I think Holman right now is my favorite for coach of the year. And then there's one coach in that I'll get to that I don't know if the professional game's for him. When you talk about that some Hardos work and some Hardos do not work, I would say that this Hardo does not work. But I'll let you try to figure that one out on yourselves. Yeah, but I'm going to ride with the Cannons in this one. Nestler, what's your pick?
I'm gonna go with the Cans as well. That is the last of the three cursed brothers right there. But on top of that, I do like the way Kavanaugh played last weekend. Seeing those highlights of him flying around, I thought was really cool. I'm the youngest in my family, so I don't know what it's like to be the oldest, but I'm sure it pissed him off having some people say that his little brothers might have it a little bit better than he does. So I'm gonna stick with the Cannons.
All right, and that brings us into our fourth and final game of the weekend. We've got Atlas LC. What a disappointing start to the season it has been so far for the Atli, and they are taking on the Chaos. So Atlas just 1-3 to start the season. Things not looking too good for them right now, which is wild, considering the amount of talent that they have on that roster. They are 1-3 on the year with a scoring differential of -8. Obviously, a lot of that comes after getting their dicks kicked in by the Cannons last week in mini 19-12. But still, I mean, just not really able to. A 1-goal loss to the Redwoods to start the season. Then they had a 1-goal win over the Whip Snakes, then a 1-goal loss to the Water Dogs, and then a 7-goal loss to the Cannons. So, I mean, they've been right there in all their games besides last week, but just really not enough to get things done. And then Chaos, obviously coming off of a tough loss to the Redwoods last weekend. And listen, I mean, they were just trying to get a couple guys, some different looks in there. The offense wasn't really clicking that much in the beginning, so it wasn't the best that the Chaos had to offer. So tough loss for them. I think that they're looking for a bounce back this week, especially in Andy Towers' home state. So I'd expect a big bounce back game by the Chaos. I don't know if we can expect like a bounce back from the Atlas. I think I don't know, Dukes. Let's hear your take on who this Hardo coach is.
Well, let me just say one thing first. This has nothing to do with Highland Park beating Garden City during the year. It has nothing to do with that. Garden City won a state championship. Looks like Fennell put together another tough out-of-school conference schedule. Win states, doesn't matter. But this does have to do with the fact that if you're coaching high schoolers and then full-grown adults, like you said, that know the game, and he's probably trying to be, it's like that philosophy of when you got a college coach in basketball and you bring him to the NBA, it does not work most of the time because it's up their ass. I don't really see how.
What Chris Bates coaches high school.
No championships. Yeah, but he also got fired from high school. Maybe he was doing it too, but maybe he was treating them too much like adults.
But yeah, I mean, no championships is a good point.
All I'm saying is that I just think that there's a way that you have to approach these guys, and I don't know if Pressler is still learning on the fly. 4 weeks from now, they could be tied for number 1 in the standings, and I'll eat my words. I never have any problem eating my words. I just think that there was a worry that I had about the Atlas going into this year, mostly concentrating around the unknowns with Pressler coaching the pro game and his approach to lacrosse and his coaching philosophy, which does work in college and high school. I'm fully admitting that. In the pros, you have to approach it a little differently. Holman has succeeded at that. Who has the better roster, the Cannons or the Atlas? Now, you tell me right now, what would the Atlas record be with Holman?
Yeah, so they'd probably be better. But like, here's the thing: is it? So this is where it's the debate of like, is it coaching or is it play? Like, right, the whole what is it? You can bring a horse to the fucking can't make a horse drink. Fool me once, can't get fooled again. But like they're not getting really, and so like thank God for Xander Dixon, right? Like thank God he came in ready to go. He added some just some nice offensive production right out of the gates for that midfield. But like, dude, like where's Romar Dennis? Right? Like Romar, he was literally all the league could talk about during the championship series. Where is Romar Dennis? I forget that he plays a lot of the times. I mean, Costabile's been having a perfectly fine season, could probably still get a little bit more out of him. I mean, maybe not. He's not really much of an issue right now, but like, I don't know. It just seems like they're getting production out of Jeff Teat and Chris Gray and Eric Law, obviously there to pick up some scraps, but they're just not getting enough from the rest of the characters. So is that coaching, or is that guy's just like not really showing up?
Is there also too many mouths to feed? Is it an embarrassment of riches that they don't really know who to really force the offense? Because again, it's only 52 seconds. People probably egos want more touches.
I mean, in today's economy, like you can't really be feeding that many mouths anyway.
Right, exactly. Inflation's out of the ass, especially in the PLL. There's just way too many good players. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I mean,
I'm low. I'm very low on the Atlas this year. Not talent wise, just putting it all together. Gavin Adler. You want to talk about a bright spot? Gavin Adler is amazing. I was wrong about that. Would I say that could you have gotten him with the 3rd pick? I would argue that you could have. I still think that you could have gotten, or just use him on the 1 and then get somebody else at 3. I really still don't get why they took 2 defenders. But yeah, Adler seems to be worth the money worth the price of admission.
What about goaltending with the Atlas right now?
I love Kincannon. I love Drake. I think you give Kincannon one more game. He's done it for a couple of years now. He's like the first man off. You could have made. I mean, look, I love Jack Kelly too, but I probably would have said that Kincannon deserved last year when the rosters were made. Kincannon should have gotten the nod for the number 2 spot for Team USA. This year's obviously not playing like it. But I think that he's still a starter in this league. I mean, just because he's had, I wouldn't even say like every loss has been his fault, but last week he was rattled. He needed to get out of the game. Drake, if he can prove that he's a starter, then yeah, I mean, play Drake. But I would stick around with Kincannon. I think there's definitely a goalie question if that's your question.
So in save percentage right now. So if I'm just looking at the PLL website, and just strictly off of save percentage, which isn't always the great. I don't know. I mean, you two are goalies, so maybe the save percentage have. Is it an inflated value for fans to look at than it actually is? Do the numbers tell a decent amount of the story, or do they not tell any of the story? Whatever is the case, out of 12 goalies that are that have played so far this PLL season, number 11 and 12 in save percentage this year, Jack Kincannon, Drake Porter. So
not great, Bob.
So we've got Blaze, Dylan Ward, Brett Dobson, Jack Kelly, Austin Kettle, Matt DeLuca, Kyle Bernlohr, Colin Kurse, Sean Scanone, Adam Gettleman. I mean, they've got just as far as save percentage goes, the 2 worst in the league.
I think save percentage can tell for like the average fan. I think it can tell like a good amount, but when you look into like how much, I think Drake only played one game. Yeah, so like his percentage is obviously going to be lower, but to have both your goalies be down there, that's never a good look. So I don't think it can tell the whole story, but I think as you get deeper into the season, it does. You know, we're about 4 weeks in now. I think when you get to 5, 6, and 7, it can tell much more story because they're seeing like a higher amount of shots. As it's my inner goalie opinion.
And yeah, I just want to say, massive Drake guy, biggest Drake guy that there is, but I have to mention the numbers.
I think that it's like any stat. It's the more shots you face, the more you can like see that the average matters more, and it's more on par. Like if Drake only has 20 shots, it's like, yeah, that's not a big enough sample size. I think you can also look at someone's career average and be like, all right, this tells more of the story.
Yeah.
Especially, that with just more games in the season. So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, scores against average all the way up. It's an issue for them. Maybe I don't know. Maybe their teams are just getting better looks against the Atlas than other guys, but it does seem like that also seems to be and when you're losing, a couple 1-goal games and then you get shelled in Minneapolis last week, I think maybe with a little bit of stronger goaltending, maybe some of those results get flipped, or maybe they don't get absolutely pumped by the Cannon. So I think that's probably their biggest issue right now. I'm going to roll. I kind of forgot to give a pick on this one. But I like the Chaos, mostly just because Austin Kaut was good enough to come on the show with us this week. And I'm not going to have a guy on the podcast and then immediately pick against him, especially on a weekend where we're going to the games. So
yeah, I'm taking the Chaos too.
I'm also on the Chaos. So that makes 3 of us. No curse to choose from in this game. So I had to really think about that one.
Yeah. That should just be a quick little, suggestion to any head coach, GM out there. If you're looking to get the fans on your side, or at least Matt Nessler, just draft a cursed.
Yes. CJ will be coming up there soon for him.
All right. Well, yeah, we're an hour and a half into this episode. I feel like we've gone on for way long enough. Just another reminder. One, if you're going to be in the Fairfield area, make sure that you get yourself to Rafferty Stadium. $37 gets you in the door. Anyone 21 and over can come over to the beer garden. If you're not going to be at the game, make sure that you are at least watching the Friday night games on ESPN Plus, but we should probably be watching all weekend anyway. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter. We are at the Crease Dive on both, Stool Crease Dive on TikTok. And in the meantime, we'll just be keeping it low to high until the day we die. We out.